All in Education exists to ensure that the individuals that are most impacted by the education inequities truly have a voice and a seat in decision-making rooms. So I am first-generation American. My parents are from Sonora, Mexico, and I grew up on the southern border. I grew up in Yuma, Arizona. And so I can remember my dad always telling me, you have to get a college degree. Your life has to be different than mine. And so I took his words really seriously. And the average American college student is graduating in 6 years if they're lucky enough to graduate, and they're acquiring debt while they're doing it. And so we are doing young people a disservice by not better preparing them for life after high school. And so that's why we were established, and all of our work is centered around making sure that the Latino community and our families, our most vulnerable populations, have access to power in the education system, and that their experience and their perspectives are centered so that we can make better decisions on behalf of the students and the families that we're serving.
One of the things I didn't know in the creation of All in Education was that one of the most critical roles that this organization can play is in helping people actually have the space to use the proper language, the proper approach to tackle some of the biggest challenges that we have in education. So I started getting involved in education advocacy, first as a community organizer, helping families learn more about the system, but also how they could use their voice to change and improve on the system. For way too long, the state of Arizona has been looking at education as like all children can learn the same way, all children should be measured the same way, and the role of equity is really important in conversations about education.
So we have 3 leadership development programs that we run. We have our program for parents and caregivers, so it's called the Parent Educator Academy. We created the Parent Educator Academy to give parents access to the tools and the resources to navigate the education system and to ensure that they can be effective advocates on behalf of their students. And so giving our parents those tools is what the Parent Academy has done. What started off as a small pilot cohort in spring of 21 with 29 parents, we now have 452 alumni that have gone through that program. It's scaled over 30 schools. Our Adelante Fellowship, it's for emerging leaders who they might be in education, they might not. As a classroom teacher, how do I advocate on behalf of my students? Where are the gaps in opportunity, and how do I close them as a leader in the community? And so Adelante has been incredibly powerful as well because of that community support that they're building. And so Adelante has now 35 alumni that have completed that program after 2 cohorts. And then our final program is called Listo Academy. Listo translates to ready in Spanish, but it also stands for Leaders in Support of Transformational Opportunities. And so Listo Academy is for our established leaders in education. So I might already be serving on a school board. How do I feel about that power, and how am I going to use it to improve student outcomes? And so they're learning about data-driven governance, about the importance of a leader reviewing the data before making decisions. And so Listo has had 2 cohorts. We've graduated 25 folks from that academy. Our pipeline of leaders is now 513. And we're incredibly proud of that number because in just 3 short years, we've hit a major milestone in our leadership development programs.
So how I got started, I would volunteer before I started working Southwest. I volunteered at my kid's school for 3 years, and I was just always volunteering my time with the parent coordinator, and she one day said, hey, you wanna take this, the parent education. And I took it the first time and I didn't complete it, but then I took it the second time and I graduated, and it was awesome. What really inspired me was I didn't know that until I went into this academy that I had a voice and I could advocate for my children. I believe if I never took that class, that I wouldn't be as involved into my kids' education.
So I was in the nonprofit sector, helping students. So I was always trying to learn more about education and how I could get more involved. And so that's when I found out about All in Education. And so I started following them and seeing what they were doing, saw the fellowship Adelante, and I got really excited about it because I felt it was the perfect opportunity for me to learn more. After going through that fellowship, I decided to run for a school board seat. I came out successful, and I now sit on the board of the Osborne School District. And so at that time, it just seemed the perfect timing to do that Listo Fellowship. And so that really helped me out in making sure that everything I do as a board member, that I have a student outcome lens, that any decisions that are made, that we are thinking about student outcomes always.
All in Education has been able to make the case that poverty is directly related and connected to student outcomes. So what All in Education has done in the few years of existence is that it has created a space and the language for us to demand more, for us to make an invitation to other Latino students to imagine a different future, so that we're not living in the present of someone else's future. We're actually imagining the future ourselves. We're imagining how those students that are most impacted by social inequities and by education inequities are able to receive the support that they need, so that we are in positions of influence, in positions of power, so that we can make the decisions that we need to make.
I think if folks want to get involved, please reach out to us. They can find us on our website, allineducation.org. Please reach out to our team. I want people to leverage this organization as a resource. We are here to be of service, and that's how All in Education is really working. Myself and our entire team are here to serve our community, and so we want to be as closely connected to the folks on the ground doing the work and just giving them a leg up and an ally, to be champions for kids.